The Unitarian Church of Montpelier is located on Western Abenaki land, served as a site of meeting and exchange amongst Indigenous peoples. The Unitarian Church of Montpelier honors, recognizes, and respects these peoples as the traditional stewards of the lands and waters on which we gather. In that same spirit, we will respect, protect, and be good stewards of this land for as long as we walk upon it. Good morning and welcome. I'm Charlotte Root, a member of the UCM board, and I use she, her, and they, them pronouns. Thank you for joining us in this time of worship from wherever you are. Whether you are on Zoom, on Facebook, or watching the service on your own time, we deeply appreciate your presence and fellowship. For over 155 years, the Unitarian Church of Montpelier, a Unitarian Universalist congregation, has been a sanctuary for those seeking both spiritual sustenance and peace and justice in the world. Whether you are a newcomer, a longtime member, somewhere in between, you are a part of our community, and we are glad you are here. One person who isn't here is our beloved Reverend Joan Javier Duval, our UCM minister, who remains on sabbatical leave until the end of this month. Verdis LeVar Robinson, our ministerial intern from last year and this year, is here and will be leading worship services until Joan returns. If you are joining us in Zoom, the chat function will be on for much of the service. It is a great way to publicly welcome and support one another, to affirm the hard work and effort of our worship team, and to share good vibes and positive thoughts. For technical issues or constructive thoughts, please private message the Zoom host or join us for coffee hour after the service to share your thoughts. Thank you to our virtual greeters who are offering hospitality and tech help throughout the service. Additionally, on Zoom, click on the live transcript button wherever it lives on your screen or in your app for increased accessibility. Again, a warm welcome to each and every one of you. Now we'll have a few brief announcements from our Director of Lifespan Spiritual Exploration, Liza Earl Centers.
Thank you so much, Charlotte. A wonderful welcome. I am Liza Earl Centers, a she, her pronouns, coming to you live from the fireplace room with Danya, who we are training with all the behind the scenes of Zoom. A few brief announcements this morning. There will be a Zoom coffee hour immediately following worship this morning. As usual, you'll just stay in this Zoom room after worship ends. And a highlight is that in addition to that, next Sunday, and for a few Sundays, if the weather is nice, the membership and hospitality team will be offering a bring your own coffee hour in the churchyard starting at noon. There will be more details about that in the e-news. There's also a open meeting of the air quality project team. Many people have questions of where that project stands. And on Tuesday, September 28th at 5:30, the air quality project team invites anyone to come to their Zoom meeting and ask questions. That will also be linked in the e-news. And finally, for anyone craving outdoor in-person connection, there is a water ceremony that I'm hosting this afternoon at the Dog River Fields, followed by some all ages kickball. I will put some more details of all of those into the chat right now.
Greetings. My name is Jenny Sassaman, and I am the worship associate this morning. Our opening words begin with the Serenity Prayer, a short but profound prayer that can bring us comfort and or guidance during many a difficult moment in life. You may remember it. Spirit, Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. We have certainly had a lot to accept lately, and we may not always have felt wise or brave in the process. This morning, may we be reminded that while sometimes acceptance means there is nothing left to do, often there is also opportunity in accepting reality as a foundation for action. As Steve Maraboli puts it so poetically, acceptance makes an incredible fertile soil for the seeds of change. As we worship together, may we find some measure of comfort, serenity, courage, and wisdom, knowing that we are in community and can make change together. Now, please join in singing our opening hymn, number 9 in our gray hymnal, Neither Forward Nor Behind, sung by members of our UCM choir under the direction of acting music director, Danya Prince.
No longer forward nor behind, I look in hope or fear, but grateful take the good I find, the best of now and here. I break my pilgrim step, I lay aside the toiling oar. The angel sought so far away, I welcome at my door. For all the jarring notes of life seem blending in a psalm, and all the angles of its strife slow rounding into calm. And so the shadows fall apart, and so the west winds play, and all the windows of my heart I open to the day.
The chalice lighting words this morning come from Maureen Killerin. As the kindling of this chalice calls us to community, let there be light. As the flame of this chalice reminds us of our values, let there be light. As the glow of this chalice encourages us to hope, let there be light. Let there be light. Now, as Verdis is lighting the chalice here in the sanctuary, please join in saying the congregational covenant. We covenant to speak honestly and listen deeply to each other and the voice within. Treat each other with compassion and honor our differences. Take responsibility for the impact our words, actions, and inactions have on each other. Support each other in times of need and of grief, and celebrate the beauty and joy in our lives. Honor the gifts of the past and be gentle with each other as we grow. Encourage each other in the brave work of creating a more beloved community and a healthy, sustainable world. And forgive each other, and start again. And we've come to the time in our service of the offering. A reminder that our generosity is a form of love and gratitude. Our gifts freely given help us to practice Unitarian Universalism within and beyond our congregation. Each month, through the UCM Community Pouch Program, we share part of our collection with an important church fund or a community organization aligned with our values. During the month of September, our community pouch recipient is People's Health and Wellness Clinic, located at their new address in downtown Barrie, 51 Church Street. And now for a community pouch testimonial from longtime member Ted Allen.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Ted Allen. I've been a longtime board member of the People's Health and Wellness Clinic, and I'm also a longtime member of this church. I'm here to express the gratitude of the staff and volunteers at the clinic for the longstanding and generous support that the Unitarian Church of Montpelier has provided to people that our clinic serves. This month, the first of our new year of church services, we are again the recipient of the community pouch contributions made by this congregation. For any of you who are unfamiliar with the People's Health and Wellness Clinic, which has served all of Central Vermont for over 25 years, our clients are any adult who needs medical care, but who has no health insurance or is underinsured. This includes newly arrived refugees, homeless people, people who have been laid off from the employment which provided their health insurance, or people who can only afford health care policies with deductibles so high they can't afford to use the policy. We provide these services through the goodwill and efforts of volunteer doctors, nurses, specialty care providers, dentists, and many other medical practitioners from Central Vermont. In addition, our offices are staffed with the support of many non-medical volunteers who give their time to this work. We have served members of this congregation in moments of medical need, and several of our church members are longtime volunteers at the clinic. September is a short month for the community pouch since we're just starting the church year. Please be as generous as you can to support the clinic and the people it serves, who have no other access to medical care. Thank you again for your past and present support.
Thank you, Ted. Your contributions to the community pouch this month will directly support the work that Ted has described. You can make a financial contribution today by donating online. Go to ucmvt.org and click Donate to UCM. There are options to contribute to the general fund, which supports the general operating budget of the church, the community pouch, or both. You can also mail a check to the church, or you can use our text to give option. Simply text a message with the word give to 802-266-4848 and follow the instructions sent to you. We are so grateful to each and every one of you for your generosity in its many forms. Our musical offering this morning comes from the UCM Choir, directed by Danya Prince, with a special appearance by Susan Bull-Riley, piano by Eliza, and videography by Mary Ann Ludlow. The song is Flying Free, which has a very timely reminder that we can never expect perfection in life and that our hearts can be free by acknowledging the realities we face.
Now, please join in with me to create an atmosphere of prayer and meditation. Feel free to close your eyes, place your hand over your heart, whatever feels comfortable for you. Our prayer this morning comes from the words of the Reverend Sarah Lawal. To ask what's possible. Spirit of life and love, holy mystery, may we hear the voice within calling us to ask what's possible, to walk to the edge, to shed the fear and the need for control, and dance with the infinite for a while. May we set down the list of wrongs and hurts and see obstacles as invitations for innovation, beckoning our creativity. May we hear each other's voices of love and encouragement, and may we hear the cries of the world asking us, who do we choose to be? May we be the vessels of comfort and compassion. May we be the vessels of hope and healing. May we be the vessels of peace and justice. May love prevail. In the name that all that is holy, we pray. Amen. Ashe, and blessed be. Now join me in a brief time of quiet meditation, after which we will sing together, Spirit of Life. Our reading this morning is The Guest House by Rumi. This being human is a guest house. Every morning, a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a meanness. Some monetary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all. Even if they are a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture, still treat each guest honorably they may be clearing you out from some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice. Meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for whatever comes because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. You know, I cannot stand ironing. I really can't. Since I've moved here, I've neglected to even purchase an iron board. I have an iron somewhere, packed up somewhere, probably in the closet. But during the pandemic, I've fallen out of the practice of ironing my clothing for obvious reasons. Pre-pandemic, I just didn't have the patience to honor the practice of ironing out the wrinkles, steaming them out, using spray starch to keep the wrinkles at bay so that my clothing looks perfect. The look of clothing having no wrinkles, smooth, perfection. Sometimes all of this effort was for show. Sometimes it was just surface and a temporary fix, as during the day, the wrinkles will always come back. And yet we can't stand to see them. We don't want to accept them and be reminded that they are there. We struggle to smooth them out, albeit temporarily, and yet they come back, creating for some a daily practice and for others employment in ironing out other people's wrinkles. So I've stopped ironing and I've accepted the wrinkles for now, but for some reason, they still bother me. It's ingrained in me that if my clothing is wrinkled, it's wrong, just wrong, and doesn't look right. Why is that? Why is that? It's bothersome, annoying, and just isn't right. Such as the wrinkle in our time. The global pandemic is a wrinkle. At one point, we thought the worst was over, didn't we? And yet here we are. The climate change crisis is a wrinkle. And with all that we do, especially here in Montpelier, I'm impressed. It seems like as though it is not going to be enough. The pandemic of racism and other oppressions are wrinkles in our time, and yet we are still struggling with the oppressions within ourselves and our institutions, and it keeps on coming back. The original blurb for this summer spoke to acceptance, these wrinkles, accepting these wrinkles in our time. But I could not sit with that for some reason. I had a hard time trying to accept everything that we have been through this past year and everything that we're going through now. And some of it is just plain unacceptable. So I have changed acceptance to acknowledgement. Acknowledging these wrinkles in our time, acknowledging that they are unacceptable, but they are present and they are our reality. Naming that, I was able to sit with it then, naming these wrinkles for what they are. African-American theologian Howard Thurman would call these wrinkles growing edges. Growing edges, for he said, look well to the growing edge. All around us, worlds are dying and new worlds are being born. All around us, life is dying and life is being born. The fruit ripens on the tree. The roots are silently at work in the darkness of the earth against a time when there shall be new leaves, fresh blossoms, green fruit. Such is the growing edge. It is the extra breath from the exhausted lung, the one more thing to try when all else has failed, the upward reach of life when weariness closes in upon all endeavors. This is the basis of hope in moments of despair, the incentive to carry on when times are out of joint and men have lost their reason. The source of confidence when worlds crash and dreams whitened into ash. The birth of the child, life's most dramatic answer to death. This is the growing edge incarnate. Look well to the growing edge. You know, that weariness that we feel right now, the wrinkles of our time are growing edges. It seems like the long, dark night that we are enduring and that we have been weeping during it. The long night that seems to go on and on and on. But I argue that this long, dark night that we are enduring is an edge beckoning us to grow, begging for us to embrace the audacious vision of the dawn after enduring a long night of weeping. Weeping for everything that we have been suffering right now. To look toward the dawn is that growing edge. After last Sunday's service, I wept. I wept because for many of you, I have yet to meet. Many of you feel a loss in connection with our beloved community. Many of you are going through your own nights of weeping for your own reasons and situations, unable to see the dawn. Maybe that's our growing edge together, to see that glorious morning. However, some of us are still stuck in the dusk, about to go through a long night. But African-American poet and writer Langston Hughes spoke to this. He said, wandering in the dusk, sometimes you get lost in the dusk and sometimes not. Beating your fist against the wall, you break your bones against the wall, and sometimes not. Walls have been known to fall. Dusk turns to dawn, and chains be gone. Dusk turns to dawn, and chains be gone. The chains of isolation, the chains of uncertainty, the chains of oppression, the chains of apathy. This reminds me of the part of the ancient sacred text, the 30th Psalm of David, that reads, beginning with the first verse, that weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. Dust turns into dawn, and chains be gone. During this long night, some of us have been enduring by being asleep, hoping to wake up from this long night of weeping to get to that joyous morning. But Henry David Thoreau, and I'm quoting a lot of people today, so bear with me, said, we must learn to reawaken and keep ourselves awake, not by mechanical aids, but by an infinite expectation of the dawn, which does not forsake us even in our soundest sleep. we must learn to reawaken and keep ourselves awake, not by mechanical aids, but by an infinite expectation of the dawn, which does not forsake us even in our soundest sleep. The joyous morning, the expectation of that dawn, that infinite expectation of that morning. Stay awake, stay with it. Expect that dawn will come and see to it. Does that mean for us to join in efforts of this congregation? Join the climate action team? Small group ministries, seasoned souls, racial justice group, welcoming congregation committee? Does that mean we join in the choir? Does that mean that we join us here as part of the worship team? Does that mean actually singing hymns during worship service, even if no one else can hear you, as you would if you were here in the sanctuary with us? Does that mean playing kickball with LSC on a Sunday afternoon? Does that mean checking in and checking up on members of this community that you miss and who are new to this congregation? Does that mean to seek out and create more opportunities to safely and responsibly gather until the morning comes? Is that what the role was talking about and speaking to us this morning? In order to remain awake by the infinite expectation of dawn, we must see it. We must envision what's next, what's to come, what we want it to look like. We must embrace it. What does that dawn look like? I have my answer, and I'm sure you do too. What does that joy in the morning look like? What does it feel like? What do you see? While we are enduring this long night, I invite you to visualize that joyous morning, that morning that has been delayed and denied, yet is still coming. I invite you to share your vision of that morning, that dawn after a perilous dusk, that dawn after the long night of weeping, the vision of unity that keeps us together, the vision of justice that will help us endure the long night, the vision of hope that will show its own pathway, the vision of love that will guide the way. So, children, don't get weary. Children, don't get weary. Children, don't get weary till your work is done. Keep your lamps trimmed and burning. Keep your lamps trimmed and burning. Keep your lamps trimmed and burning. The time is drawing nigh. You see, don't get weary. Because I believe, like the Adele song, some people don't know who Adele is, just Google her. Because she says, when the sky falls, when it crumbles, we will stand tall and face it all together. I believe that we will be together again, singing together, laughing together, crying together. I believe that we can dismantle white supremacy. I believe it because my ancestors believed it before me. I believe that we will reach that glorious freedom that we carry within our hearts, that blessed inheritance that has haunted us for many generations. But until that morning comes, that glorious vision of dawn, stay with it. Stay with us. Seek ways to embrace what's next, what's to come. Find ways, various ways to unlock our own agency to still be connected, to still fight for justice, and to protect the earth, our home. We have the power to determine what that joy looks like, what does joy look like in the morning after weeping during this long night? I believe, like as Malachi believed in the inclusive Bible, that the sun will rise. A sun of justice will rise, and it will rise with healing in its rays. What a thought, what a dream, what a joy. Furthermore, according to Malachi, in that morning, we will go out leaping like calves released from their stall. And that's joy in the morning. I'm almost done. But these wrinkles in our time that seem to not go away, no matter how much we try to iron them out, those wrinkles in our time that seem to plague us, no matter how much starch we spray on it. But we must not fall asleep. We will rise up stronger than ever. We will be vigilant, hopeful, mindful, and embracing the possibilities of the coming joy, the coming peace, the coming unity, and do it with love. Love lifted me. Love lifted me when nothing else would help. Love lifted me, oh, love lifted me, oh, love lifted me when nothing else would help. Love lifted me. May it be so. Amen, ashe, and blessed be. Now please join me in singing. Sing loudly as though we are in the sanctuary. Our closing hymn, number 100, Peace Like a River. And join in as Maisie leads us in song this morning.
I've got
Beautiful, Maisie. I hope y'all are singing along with her. Where y'all? Just saying. All right. But as we draw the service to a close, we extinguish the chalice and carry within each of us its healing flame, the warmth of community, and the spark of hope in the days and the week ahead. Now join us in saying the mission statement of the Unitarian Church of Montpelier. We welcome all as we build a loving community to nurture each person's spiritual journey, serve human need, and protect the earth, our home. And now for our closing words. Our closing words come from one of my mentors, the Reverend Richard S. Gilbert, entitled, "A New Song, a New Harmony." By our presence here with one another, hearing the harmony that is the music of the spheres, may some of the harshness and discord of our human lives be transmuted into music. A new song in our hearts may there be, and a new harmony in our beings, so that we shall return to our several duties with fresh courage and with eagerness and with rejoicing. Go in peace, go in joy, and go in love.